graves are synonymous with spooky sightings and things that go bump in the night. So it's a good thing we're checking out some of Singapore's most unusual graves in the broad daylight. And the only encounters we've had were mosquitoes. Still, I couldn't resist asking the co-founder of Asia Paranormal Investigators, Raymond Goh, if he has had any ghostly encounters during his grave explorations.
Since you're part of Asia Paranormal Investigators, right, and graves are kind of related to paranormal activity, have you ever experienced or witnessed any unusual sightings during your grave exploration?
Well, actually there is one. One time around midnight, I was leading a tour group here, and when we are leaving, I saw on top of the grave, near the tree deity, on top there's one very big fat cat looking at me, and the eyes are shining.
Right.
So I look at her, I want to scare away, you know. I want to throw it, but it remains still and still look at me. So I thought there's something, you know. Why this is the hill, and why should a cat be sitting midnight on top of a grave?
Right.
But that to me is a bit strange. Then the other time I bring again, we saw one old lady using a fan and sitting on a grave. Not this grave, but another grave, sitting on top near the grave. On the grave, sit there and using a fan and old clothes, last time old, and using a fan. And the lady was wearing sort of red dress. So some people thought, is that a ghost? You know.
Aside from risking spooky encounters, grave explorers also had to trek through rather treacherous terrain to find interesting graves off the beaten track. So why would anyone want to be a grave explorer in the first place?
Okay, so Raymond, tell us, when did you first get started in this grave exploring?
Well, it started in 2005 when my brother Charles co-founded the Asia Paranormal Investigators, and he do a lot of this kind of tours. So one of these tours involved tours to the cemetery. So I went on to take a heritage tour guide. I became a qualified heritage tour guide, and during the process also I start to study the graves, the history behind the graves, and that's how it started.
A history that goes back over 170 years in the form of Singapore's oldest known grave in 1833, which is located at the Bukit Brown Cemetery. The history of graves in Singapore may span more than 170 years, but the shape of tombstones hasn't changed much since the beginning.
Almost all of these tombstones have a pretty similar shape and structure to it. I mean,
yes.
And you can have why not just a straight vertical or something more elaborate?
No, some of them have elaborate ones. But most of them will have the horseshoe shape.
This is called a horseshoe shape?
No, I mean the shape of the tomb.
Yes.
It looks like a horseshoe.
Right.
You know why? It's actually the shape of the womb.
Okay.
If you see carefully around the tombs, it's actually shape of the womb. So from where we come out from the womb, right? From where we come out, right? From where we go in.
Raymond takes pride in being able to locate the graves of several prominent Singaporeans who have shaped our history.
For example, in this cemetery, I can find Boon Lay, I can find Chu Chiet,
okay.
I can find Hong Lim, I can find Kiem Hock, Chong Pang, Ni Sun, Mrs. Lim Ni Sun, Chong Guo, I can find Gan Ning Seng, I can find Ho Sui.
Wow, okay.
Many.
So almost all of our streets are here within one area of land.
Yes.
It may be only a matter of time before some of these graves are exhumed in land-scarce Singapore. Let's hope some of these historical graves remain, and if not, go check them out before they're gone forever.